ahead and do an introduction on you, Keri. Go ahead and let people know who you are.
Hi, I'm Keri. I just actually celebrated my 34th birthday.
Ooh.
I am a mom. I have 3 kids. We also just celebrated our 13th wedding anniversary, me and my husband.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm from Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, and we recently moved back in May, so we're kind of newly homeowners again, and that's kind of it. I work part-time. I work at a credit union here in Manitoba, Canada,
Okay.
and just trying to get healthy, I guess.
No, I love that. Love that. First of all, I can tell your Canada accent.
Oh, really?
Now that you said that, yep. So love it, love it, love that you're over there, and love that you're able to use our app over there. We have so many people. I just had somebody like the UK today message me and was like, "Hey, is this compatible?" And I'm like, "Sure it is." And they're like, "Okay," and they've been using it. It's great.
Yeah.
So Keri, let's go ahead and talk about like from the beginning. Let's talk about your health and wellness journey from the very beginning. So what was it like growing up, high school? I mean, and then what made you decide that you wanted to get healthy per se?
I find this is hard because my Instagram page, I'm surrounded by so many people who have struggled their whole lives. I didn't. Growing up, yes, I was like the chubby kid in certain grades.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden I got a growth spurt and I wasn't anymore. And I got married. But I used to eat like crap. I never was a healthy eater. I had a super high metabolism. And my friends always told me, Keri, it's gonna catch up to you.
I've heard that so many times.
And but I watched my friends, they struggled, and it was never easy to watch them struggling. And then I had kids, and I'm gonna be really vulnerable here. I was 120 pounds when me and my husband got married, and when I originally started my health journey, I was up to 180. And there's a fly. And it was one pregnancy after another, and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna lose weight," and I had really struggled losing that baby weight, and then I get pregnant again. Oh, well, next time, and then it just got really out of hand. But like I said, I never had those great eating habits when my metabolism was good, and so they kind of transferred into when my metabolism slowed right down. And being at home and dealing with postpartum everything, and and you're up all night nursing or feeding, and it's just like, oh well, there's that leftover cheeseburger, why don't I go and eat that at 2 o'clock in the morning? And and then after my third child, so he was born in 2017.
Okay.
And I kind of struggled all the way through and like I said, like I started each of my pregnancies heavier than the last. And so when I started at 180, that wasn't my heaviest, just because I was close to that 200 mark being pregnant. And it's hard to see your body change. It's hard to know where to start, how to do this. So it's and so that's kind of where it all started. And I was actually my friend who said, like, let's do something. We were both unhappy. We weren't those people that kind of bounced right back after pregnancy. But in society, they say, well, you do. And
you lose the weight plus some, and then
but you don't. And I think it's really hard, especially for busy moms, busy women, whether you are on the go all the time and eating that fast food on the way to soccer practice or on the way to work and grabbing that bagel or McDonald's or whatever with your coffee. And so I felt like it was time to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what exactly, like, what was that turning point for you that made you be like, all right, this is it? Like, you know what I mean?
You know, it's feeling uncomfortable with yourself. Like feeling
Mm-hmm.
comfortable when you put on clothes or when you are having to do all of that sizing up and, oh, I don't know how many times I said, oh, I'm gonna buy these pants or this shirt is my goal pants.
Yeah.
And I actually said to my friend one of the last times we were shopping that I said, I'm done. I'm done buying things that I want to fit into. Because
Mm-hmm.
I said it's almost damaging.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, well, I have this pair of jeans, this gold pair of jeans, whatever that number is or that size. And because jeans are terribly sized. I'm going to throw it
Oh,
out there.
even guys, a lot of people don't realize that because, we have a lot of female members, but like men's sizing as far as jeans go, they're not as dramatic as what women's are, you know what I mean? Where you could be a size 7 and whatever, and then be a size 13 and another, or vice versa. But even for men, it's like I'm a 38, and even when I was at my lowest, I was only a 36, but I still had to have like the stretchy material type thing of jeans. Like me just wearing a plain old like Dickies jeans or whatever was like, oh no. Then I'm like in the 40s and I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah. And it's really frustrating just because you can be like a size 10 here and then all of a sudden you're going to be a size 12 and it's just like, well, did I gain that weight? Did I?
Yeah.
And even just with like even as your body changes, whether it's through babies or gaining weight, losing weight, it's just really hard. And so I told her, I was like, I'm done buying things that I'm gonna one day fit into. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy for where my body's at now because I need to dress right now. And
Yeah.
I find it was really damaging to me to be like, you know what, I'm gonna fit into that size whatever jean, and then they sit in my closet and I eventually give them away because I'm like, and then you feel like, then it makes me feel bad that I haven't reached that goal. And it's
Yeah. No, I totally understand you 110%. A lot of people that know me personally or have followed me for a long time know that we're in the process of, we're full-time RVing right now, but we'll eventually have a house here probably in the next year or so.
right.
But we had to downsize a lot. And when we came from this nice house all the way down to this little 200 square foot camper, we had to purge a lot of things. And I will never forget having that like drawer, or not a drawer, but like a container full of those goal weight clothes that I had. That was like, oh my God, it was all my large shirts. It was all of my 36 pants. It had a suit that I loved wearing to church at that time when I was at my lowest. And then like being like, but I'm not at my lowest right now. And so it was actually kind of freeing to get rid of it. It was a little sad at the beginning,
Right.
but then as I like started with my journey again and started with life and eating right and slowly but surely doing it, I was like, it's so freeing because right now Jordan is in 38 jeans. So when I get to 36, I'll be in 36 and I'll buy some. You know what I mean? So I applaud you for that. Because it takes a lot of courage to do stuff like that.
And it's hard to actually realize that's what we need or what my mind needs to kind of keep going. And like I said, like even my relationship with food, I don't actually even know where it went wrong. But like I said, I just didn't have that healthy relationship, and also trying to make that now because like I'm sad or I'm really busy or like I'm an emotional eater. And then it's also just trying to like stop that mindset of, you know what, I'm stressed about the kids. Well, me going and eating extra fried chicken at supper is just not going to make me feel any better.
Oh no, totally understand that. Totally understand that. No, especially when you like get to like reset mode. When you're in that mode of like, all right, I'm getting my stuff together, I'm getting my crap together, and I can do this. So I applaud you so much, Keri.
Thank you. It's
so Yeah, so with your journey right now, I know that, everybody goes through, some slip ups or whatever, but like, how is your journey now? So when you decided that you were wanting to lose weight, like you were talking to your friend, you're like, I'm done with it. That was your why. You're just like, I'm done trying to figure it all out. Like, what pushed you? So what kept your motivation at that time to keep going? Because you're still going. Like, that's my thing. Like, when I have people reach out to me, like, even if they're like, oh man, I gained, 15 pounds during COVID, I'm like, but you're still messaging me on iTrack Bites wanting help. So you haven't given up. You know what I mean? I haven't not seen Keri in 3 years and been like, where's she at?
Yeah. You know what? And it's like I messaged you the other day and just said, like I'm struggling, like I'm not really right on track, and like, do you still want to interview me? And that's what I loved about this iTrack Bites community. And it's we are all struggling, thriving, crushing it, slipping up, and and unfortunately that's life, and life will get in the way of certain things. And so in the beginning I kind of felt like it was that scale number going down. I was seeing those changes. Even my husband was saying, like, he was starting to even notice different things. I was happier, I was sleeping better. And so it was that. And like I said, like this summer, I kept on using my excuse, oh, it's the summer, I'll get back to it after. And it's hard. And I actually just posted on my Instagram today that I'm done. Like, I'm ready to restart. I said the kids are going back to school. I'm ready for that routine to come back. And I'm ready for that meal planning. So
Yeah. No, I love that so much. Like, routine. Routine is everything. Like, I even have thought about myself, like, in the past when last time I was down at my lowest weight, like, what was it that brought me there? And it was totally routine. It was total routine. So I completely understand that. Our ambassador, Rachel, me and Rachel are really close friends, and she's like my accountability partner. And so we always message each other on Instagram and all that stuff. And I told her on Sunday, I said, listen, I'm going to try Conquer Cravings. I've never tried Conquer Cravings before. I said, maybe that is the spark I need to, not that I'm failing, but just the spark I need to be like, oh my gosh, it's exciting again. It's new. And I told her, I was like, so she's like, what do you want to do with that? And I said, I just want to get through Monday. Like, I just want to track all day Monday and see how that was. And then, like, she messaged me on today and was like, so how'd it go yesterday? And I was like, I actually zeroed everything out. Like, I was perfect for the day. And it felt so good to be in that routine. So I understand what you mean.
Yeah. And that's actually where I went. That's another reason why I loved iTrack Bites, is because there was so many programs to choose from. And
yes.
There were, like, right now I really concentrate on Calorie Command. I have done I've done Better Balance. And then you kind of go back and forth from, like, looking at different plans to see what's there, exciting, and what's going to keep you motivated. And I think the reason why I liked the Calorie Command was I felt like I had a bit more freedom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But with that freedom, I'm also finding that you have to be really careful, because it's not that you're tracking those bites anymore, really. And really and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I could eat this bagel that used to be like 5.9 bites and now it's only 200 calories. And so fitting that into the day. And so, but it's just learning different things, or certain plans that, like, your fruits are 0. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh,
are you, so it's one of them, like, are you going to spend 100 calories on grapes?
Right.
Or are you going to, eat 100-calorie bag of chips?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I totally understand that.
So, but
totally understand that.
Yeah. And like I said, I posted on my Instagram page today that, you know what, since the beginning of the year, right now, as where I am, I've gained 10 pounds. And
We've all been there.
And it hurts to see that, but I actually feel like with being honest with ourselves, whether it's to our accountability Instagram page or to a friend or whatever, I think that's a really big step. And
well, in what better way for you to kind of hit the reset button for tomorrow is September 1st. So like,
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, that's for me, and that's what it is. It's like, I look back this year and I'm sorry, this year's been rough.
Yeah.
It hasn't been 100% rough like 2020,
yeah.
but it was about 75% rough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It still is.
Yeah.
And so like I said, I applaud everybody that when I talk to them and meet them and learn about their journeys, even if they're slipping a little bit or they've done this or done that, like we're still here. We're still plugging along, you know what I mean? Chugging along, doing it.
And that's
so for you, Keri, right now, what are some, since it is going to be September 1st, what is some of your like last quarter of the year mini goals? You know what I mean? You got just a few months left for 2021, and then it's going to be 2022. So like, what's some short-term goals of yours?
I actually said to my husband today, I said, you know what, going forward, we need to start with our meal planning again. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of saying Monday we have this, Tuesday we have this, because then something will happen and there's an extra soccer practice or something comes up, and then I feel like, oh, well, I didn't do this we didn't have tacos on Tuesday, so our whole week's all screwed up. So then, but I said to him, even just like planning out like 5 meals and try to fit them in like where we have them, or that at least I know, before I go to work, I take out the ground beef or the ground turkey or something. And so, and also just really purposely working out, exercising. Like I said, I'm a mom of 3 and like, there's no time to be just lazing around, but also just like purposely making that time to either throw a YouTube video on the TV for 20 minutes or saying, you know what, it's a beautiful night out, we're all going for a walk. And and maybe not getting the ice cream on our walk. Just gonna say.
We'll try. Yeah. We'll try.
But it's also worth, some of those memories need to be made. So, and that's where.
No, I totally understand that. Tonight, my wife and I, after dinner, we were actually, same thing pretty much happened. We talked over the weekend and we were like, number 1, budgeting money. Hello. And then number 2 was, we need to start meal planning again. And we used to be those people, Taco Tuesday, this and that. But we're totally like you, me and my wife are, like you and your husband, that we just want 5 meals. Here's what it is. Yeah. We put them in the freezer and fridge. And that day when my wife will text me and be like, hey, does this sound good for dinner? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Here we go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So love that.
Yeah. And and so I think those would be like, actually before I even seen this new little challenge that iTrackBites was putting out, you know what, if I can tell myself that I can track at least 25 days a month, like whether I am going over my calories or my bites or whatever plan that I choose to kind of go through, then like just that honest tracking, because I think that plays a really big part in our success. And I'll loosely track this, but then you know what, all those like little bites and tastes and eating off my kids' plates and like those all have calories. And so
well, I love that. So, and I love that you're going to join us for our 25 days of tracking. I am super excited for it. I'm kind of like, even for me as the community manager, I'm like, this is going to get my butt in gear to do this. 25 straight days of tracking. Like, I want a stinking like plaque on my wall when I get done with the 25 days. So love that. So speaking of like tracking, so Keri, when you say a good tracking day for you, what does that look like as far as breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Just, we have a couple minutes left of the interview. What, for some inspiration for some of our members, for you, what is, a good, honest day of tracking? What does that look like for you?
Well, whether I'm home or at work kind of looks a little bit different. So I'll go with on a day that I'm at work because then I'm kind of on the go. I try to pack. I usually pre-pack and pre-track. When I'm packing my lunch, either the night before or the morning of, I usually try to do like my breakfast, my lunch, and my snacks. I often will overpack snacks, if you want to say that, just so that if I am extra hungry during the day, that I have it all planned out, and then I know how much I have for my supper and my snacks at the end of the day. And and then whatever I don't eat out of my lunch, then I actually just take that off by the time I get home, and it just gives me a little bit extra for the evening or supper or however we want to work that. So if I'm working, I'm often either I make like breakfast wraps at home. Oh, so either I'm cooking up the eggs and I'll put some veggies in there, like peppers and onions, or a breakfast sandwich. I've been making those and just sticking them in tin foil, and I warm them up at work. So an English muffin, piece of Canadian bacon, back bacon, cheese, and an English muffin. And kind of that, yogurt. I still have my coffee because I'm a little bit addicted to coffee. And
me too.
Yeah, and so then I'll pack my lunch, and whether that's either like a salad and a protein, like I'll cook up a chicken breast, or even a sandwich. I'm a big sandwich and either salad or soup, depending. It gets pretty cold here in Manitoba, so then I do like the hearty warming up, either chili or soup or like thick soups. And then my snacks are going to be like either veggies and dip. And I recently just found this Bolt House ranch that I really do love.
Love that. Love it.
And we really don't have a whole lot of Bolt House here that I've been able to find, so I was really happy to find the ranch one.
Oh, I bet.
And but just like veggies, I'll have granola bars, those little bags of chips. I love the Poppables. Pardon me.
Yeah.
And or even the Quest protein chips. I find those are and then I have either like protein bars that I'll stick in the fridge and just have there just in case I need a little bit of an extra fill up, and so no.
Oh, love it. I am like, yes, make it stupid easy. Like, that's my biggest thing. Just, I'm the same way. I overpack my snacks. Yep. My wife's always just like, I just seen you take your Premier Protein shake for your protein coffee. She's like, I just seen you take a little instant oatmeal. I then saw you take a protein bar, and then I saw you take popcorn, and then I'm like, yeah, but I just like, I don't want to be like, I don't have anything.
Right.
Even though I bring it straight back home, because there's some days where I just don't eat snacks. You know what I mean?
So. And that's the thing too. I always overpack my snacks because I'm like, we have a canteen at work, and it has chocolate bars and bags of chips and Pop-Tarts, and I'm just like, you know what, if I can be dedicated enough to stick to my little lunch bag that I bring, then I know I can either stay on track or hopefully have stuff left over in there. And if I don't, then I know I'm still going to be on track. And depending what we have for supper, that's also going to depend on what I pack in that bag. If I know we're going to have a lasagna for supper, it's just going to be on a bite heavy or calorie heavy.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can kind of plan around that. But that's why I think the planning is really important, that you can plan around those things.
Yeah. No, love that. So my last two questions I have that I ask all of our members are, the first one is, what is something that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started your journey?
You know, the biggest thing, and it's something I still struggle with, I still am learning, and is that the scale doesn't know you. The scale.
It's just batteries.
Yeah. That metal box that I step on, she's sometimes mean. And that the scale, it's collecting data, and the only way it knows how. And whether you are losing inches or gaining muscle, losing fat, it's something that's taken me a really long time to realize that, you know, last year in 2020, I did 75 hard. And so I was doing a lot more workouts than I ever did. But I was also putting those weights into motion, and you don't really realize, even if that number still staying the same, but you're gaining that muscle, or you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that was something that I wish I knew back then, even when I was starting and seeing, like those first couple of weeks of starting to lose weight, and you were losing like a good amount just because your body's not used to either the eating or the exercising or the water intake. I'm still really lacking on the water intake some weeks, but it just all makes a difference. And that number doesn't define us. And so yeah.
Love it. Love it. So my last question for you, Keri, before we get off, is, you know, we have hundreds and thousands of members that are going to watch this on the replay, listen to it on the podcast on Friday. There's going to be that one person, and I know this because I get a message every week about this. They are on the fence of starting. They want to start. They just don't know how, and they need that push. What do you want to tell that person that's listening tonight that wants so badly to get their health and wellness in check? What do you want to tell them to get them started?
Just go for it. You know what? Tomorrow is not Monday, but tomorrow is my restart. And we need to get out of that mentality. Oh, I'll start on Monday. And find that accountability person for you. Whether it is starting an Instagram page or finding that friend who will meet you outside at 6 a.m. to go for a walk. And believe me, not all your friends will want to. Yeah. But you know what? And it is really scary, even just knowing where to start. And even with I Track Bites, there's a lot of plans you can choose from. But you know what? Pick one that you feel is going to benefit you the most, whether it's the counting calories, maybe more proteins in your daily intake. But I know it's hard to start, but don't wait for Monday, or don't wait for the new year, or I feel like that is the biggest thing. And like I said, tomorrow is Wednesday, and I'm going to start because I know how much better I feel, how much better I even feel during the day, like not even just eating and drinking, but like my energy levels, and even wanting to do stuff when I get home, like stuff around the house, or we're campers. So like cleaning up the camper now that we're done camping for the season, and just, I'm not feeling sluggish. And so just start, find that accountability person to either listen to you, or you can Snapchat them your meals and say, this is what I'm eating. What are you having for supper? Or just getting new ideas, and keep it simple. I don't think it needs to be hard. Like for breakfast, if you're sitting at home, have eggs and toast. Throw some fruits there or whatever. And it's, but just start. Just start. Yeah.
Love it, Keri.
Don't wait.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I do really appreciate it. I was so glad that I get to meet you face to face, and get to call you friend. And I'm excited to see your journey and the 25 days of trekking that we're gonna do. But I do want to thank you again for joining me tonight. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for asking me. I felt so nervous all day, and but it's been really good, and I do feel honored that you asked me. So thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Keri. You have a good night,
You too.
Okay?
Bye-bye.